back, guys, to another night with yours truly, Sylvia Camille. And guess what? It is Father's Day. It is Father's Day. So, everyone, I want to say a special Heavenly Father's Day to my father, Mr. Alexander McLendon, and my father-in-law, Mr. Joseph Pierce, who's in heaven, and my other father-in-law, who's my sister's father-in-law, Mr. Otis Shaw. This is their first Father's Day without Papa. So, but we're smiling, guys. We're smiling. And to all of my cousins and uncles who are fathers and my family and friend members, happy Father's Day. Today is your special day. And guess what, guys? Last week was the word of the week was still congratulations, because a lot of things have been going on in Sylvia Camille's life. So I just want everybody to celebrate with me and congratulate anybody who's doing anything positive. And the word of the week for this week is norm. Norm. I chose this word because our special guest, who I'm going to bring in just a moment, hey, he has the new norm for his life. But the word norm simply means something that is usual, typical, or standard. It's the norm. It's what you do. But our special guest, Mr. Keith Lewis Jr., and I'm going to bring him into the room. He has changed the norm for his life, the new normal. Hi, Keith.
Hey, how you doing, Queen?
I'm doing well, King. How you doing?
Man, I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be live on Sunday nights.
Yes, I love it. I am so happy that you said yes. Because guys, I just have to go ahead and put this out here. I've been knowing Keith ever since he was a boy. My sister and I we babysat him one time for his parents. So we go way back, and he is a father, and he is doing amazing things. So Keith, just to get everybody to know who you are, I want you to share with them, what is your story? Tell them your story, because I have one main question that I'm going to ask later on, but I want you to share your story with people.
Well, I'm born and raised in Atlanta. Like like you said, Camille, we've known each other since before I knew myself, and grew up in Atlanta, product of Atlanta public school systems. Played sports in East Point. Went to Mays High School, but got put out of Mays, being experimental. So I was experimenting with the cannabis, which is now legal. And again, I got put out of Mays. So basically what I've been doing since then is I got in trouble from 17 through 22. But after 22, I went to prison. My oldest child, Samaya, was born. So that's when my life began. From school age, I was just always very smart. I always moved ahead of the books. I moved ahead of what the curriculum was. And what happened was, as a young teenager and young adult, you think you know more than you really do. But by the grace of God, I was spared. During that time, I was shot twice. I was incarcerated. My oldest child was born, and I have my youngest son now here, who, even though he knows I'm on the interview, he keeps tapping me. So I'm still a father first.
That's right.
What I've spent my time doing is rechanging the narrative. Just like as of right now, he's a perfect example. No matter how much you spend time with your children, we got on matching outfits. We've been loving each other, but for this one, no, he has an attitude. So I work with men to get over that shame, get over that guilt of not being the ideal father. And through that process, the organization has grown from not only a brotherhood for the men, but also a network for the young men that don't have fathers in their households. And then from that, of course, you have the single mothers. So the goal, the new norm, is collaboration over competition. And it's been shown day by day, every day in our work, from the school system that I was put out of, being my main partner now. I have a curriculum that I've sold to them for young Black boys. I have a book that the schools buy, and, young kids read, and they like, dang, Mr. Keith, you got a book? So it's been inspiring for myself to see how I went from just a inquisitive young man with his own ideas of how the world should go, and then just messing up, but then using that same fall down to get back up at such a high rate, man. It's been incredible, honestly.
Yeah, I just applaud you every time I see, and I knew about some of those things. So my burning question that I always had that I want to say, because I saw you, I know how positive you were, but I didn't know you were doing some of these little mischievous things. So people often, when they hear your story and they look at you and you're not a person, you're not a black male that was not in a house with a black male role model.
Yeah.
You were exposed to church, you went to Sunday school, you went vacation school. So you know everything. How does one go down that path? How does that happen? Is it just that inquisitive that you just got to find out what's going on the other side?
One thing I learned last I was a member of the Russell Center of Entrepreneurship with Jay Bailey. He's been like a big brother to me. He's an incredible man, right? He raises a lot of money. He builds a lot of bridges for others to cross over. So as I watched him and he watched me, he told me, he said, Keith, I admire you so much. And actually, who connected me with him was Robert Abram. God bless the dead.
Oh.
Yeah, him and
Hmm.
Robert grew up together. Robert used to protect him when he was just this nerdy kid that was getting picked on. And now he's the CEO of the Russell Center for Entrepreneurship.
Oh
And
my
they
God.
30, $40 million. So
Hmm.
hey, he would tell me when I would say, man, I just don't get it. Why am I like this? Right. And this is last year. This is after the organization is here. And he said, Keith, you're a trailblazer. He said, you're a disruptor. He said, you can't blaze a trail if it's already been blazed. So
Mm.
for us and our young men that we have to remember, a child can't blaze a trail that has already been set up. So if you're a disruptor, when big companies are looking for something to fund, they're looking for disruptive and innovative technology. The word
Mm.
disrupt means one thing only. That means to interrupt the current norm. You can't disrupt without interrupting the flow of things. So I had to learn to myself that I've always just been the one that wanted to shake the room up. I always questioned how things were done. I still question why is the benediction done, and why is the flow of this done that way. I don't believe in the traditional thinking. And I just think all it was I needed a mentor for my own type of thinking. So I'm here for
Mhm.
the young who just don't want to go in the traditional way of thinking. It's like one of my brothers over here just said, just because the elephant is big doesn't mean he isn't smart. We got a dog barking.
That's
Just
okay. It's Father's
an
Day. You
elephant.
can have your way.
Right, I see. It's like all type of festivities going on. We're in the house of love over here. But
I
yeah,
love
that's my
it. I love it.
yeah.
I
So
love
yeah, I would made me go down that way is because like my father, he was an educator. But honestly, and he'll tell you I'm a better version of him, which is what it's for, right? My sons are supposed to be better than me, or else I haven't done
it.
my
Right.
job. So he would always say, man, I always had the ideas or the thoughts, but I never jumped out on faith like you do.
Mm.
But if I wouldn't have got a felony at a young age, and had I stayed working for AT&T and now been 22 years in, would I really risk it all to help others? Probably not. If I was like I'm over my brother's grandfather-in-law's house, he lives on a golf course because he went corporate, government, military, or however his path was. I had to go streets, prison, community college, corporate, streets. I had to, because like they said, the path to success is wide. If anybody tells you that it's narrow, that's not actually accurate. So I just think that one thing Pastor Dollar said in our sermon today for fathers, he said, just make sure you're picking up all the tools that you gain along the way and apply
Mm.
them. So I just think now I'm about to be 41 on Thursday. When women talk to me and men talk to me and they say, man, you so wise. I say, man, them stripes finally came into handy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think I just had to go this way. I was just designed and designated to be this. They said many are called, but only few are chose. You know what I'm saying?
And
So I'm just be one
and
of the
you're the
chosen.
chosen one. You're the
Yeah.
chosen one. Well, happy early birthday to you.
Thank you. Cancer season upon
I
us.
love it. So let's talk about this. Today is Father's Day, and we're going to jump into your book too in just a moment, shortly. But what does it mean to be a father? And I know you're rocking your t-shirt, I'm a king first today, but you have Brandon t-shirts that says I'm a father first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, fatherhood just means always being there. You know, it means provide provision. It means protection. I think that those are the first adjectives I think of, right? You know, you have to be able to provide for your family. You know, you must be able to protect them because the world is what it is. Um,
Mhm.
if we go back historically and we think about our women being taken from us and being raped and things in slavery and in civil rights, now is more of a time than ever that you must show that you can protect your woman, protect your mother, protect your children. You know, so being a father to me means showing up no matter what. You know, right now I'm in a situation where I can't see my oldest two children because the enemy has attacked my family. But I had to learn it myself, right? Speaking of my book, I was walking by my book one day and I read the cover. You know, I was just in my house and I saw it said the new norm, the desensitization of the black family.
Mm.
And I said, wow, Keith, you don't really set yourself up for some attacks with this one because I've declared to the enemy that I'm a father first, that I'm
Yes.
king, that I'm here to bring black families together, which, as we know, from the beginning of time, we were separated from each other because the strength was in us being unified. So for me, a father just means he has to be willing to bear the hatchet. He has to be willing to take it against the chin, but he also must be able to communicate what's going on with him. And that's what I know is one of my strong parts. You know, I
Mm.
tears out of them. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna cry, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna say, dang, we're gonna go through every emotion with me because I want people to be able to walk away saying I had a moment with God. You know, I
Mm.
every day that I'm a living, breathing example of him. And I'm not traditional, but that's we don't live in a traditional time. We live in a new norm. So I hope I answered it not too long winded.
No, no, it's all about you today. You
Oh,
did
well, thank
that.
you. I guess I'm single, so that sounds good to me. Thank you.
It's all about you.
I heard that all day. I had to cook my own breakfast and everything.
Oh, it's all about you today.
Well, thank you so much.
You are the special father on Sunday Night Live tonight, so you can talk. As long as you want with the questions.
I,
But okay, now we're gonna shift and talk about how important is it in the Black community to have a strong black role model, because I love what you did. Um, you saw that those boys were getting in trouble on the corner selling water. Let's talk about with the people what you did. You rebranded them
yeah,
in a positive light. So
and that
how important is it in the Black community to have a strong Black role model such as yourself?
Yeah, and that's key that you said that because rebrand the man is the verbiage that I've put on the website that I've talked to brothers about, but it just came simply to me. I was telling someone else earlier when I was in the shower about 3 years ago. I remember it clearly. You know, I did marketing and branding for Ezekiel Elliott when he came out in 2016. So he was my largest client at the time. He's a star running back for the Cowboys. We
Yes.
that was gonna change my life and take it a whole nother way, right? But what happened was it allowed me to get burnt by some more successful people who had longer pockets, longer, history in NFL marketing. So I told Ezekiel's dad, I said, God gave me a word, and he told me my job isn't to use my skill sets for athletes and celebrity, it's to rebrand the black man. So
Mm.
I said I'm a father first, my biggest client, because this was when I really jumped off. I'm a father first. After that letdown, that career letdown,
Mm-hmm.
and man, I just took off with it. This was 2017. So when you say how important is it to have a black role model, as I saw these guys, right? We're from Atlanta. We both went to Mays High. We both went to Flipper Temple. So we're in a different generation, so to speak, but we have the same cultural fiber. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't have the same understanding of life because we're from different places, different schools. So it's hard to relate. But what I've learned is as a black man, you have to one, humble yourself, right? Because I'm
Mm.
6'2", 250. Yeah. And if I look at you like this, you're gonna think I'm trying to come at you like any other black man. And if I haven't had nothing to drink and my voice sounds like this at the moment, that can intimidate you. So we have to minimize ourselves. I think that's what's caused a lot of our black men to lose their identity, honestly. because they have to go too soft. You know what I'm saying? I found myself in church settings and conferences and things, and it's like, oh, how are you doing? And it's like you're doing that so you don't scare anyone.
Right.
But what I'm learning now is you have to own your identity. So the example of a positive black man, my dad, he's a strong black man, and he to this day think he the finest thing
Ah,
going.
yeah.
Hey, look, you know that, Camille. You can't tell him he
You
ain't.
can't tell him.
Nah, you can't tell him nothing. So, but and that confidence went in me as well. So even though we had our different way of doing things, because I rebelled against my dad, because I,
Right.
like every other child, I thought he was against me. Like my children probably think I'm against them at times, because when you've lived, you just live. So I think the example of a positive black man is important. I have a mentee that at 14, he was in my son's class, Keandre. He's already been on house arrest. He had an ankle monitor. He'd already been shot once. He already had a child. And he's in the same class with my son who has a Disney commercial. So that's the black diaspora, right? You know that from Mays. You got senators, congressmen, all types of things that have come out of our hallways. But you're going to school with people who literally their mom make under 20,000 a year, and their dad has never been around. So that positive role model is so important, because what happens is the water gets diluted. So if you have a population of 2,000 kids, and this is in a high school I'm speaking, and you
Right.
got 400 strong dual parent households that congregate like this family is doing right now, that eat dinner together, that pray together, go to each other's graduations. That child is going to eventually be influenced by the one who never is around his family, by the one who listening to the rap music all day, by the one who at 14 is stealing cars. So if no one is showing them that positive black example, they don't know that I am a king. So we changed that, and we're speaking with our water boys. We changed the name to corner boys.
Yes.
All I did, man, last summer, we picking them up in our cars in the middle of the pandemic. And I didn't catch COVID, glory be to God. It's like I went out and I faced a pandemic because my brain never thinks conformity. My brain never thinks to move like everybody else. I said, while people are panicking, we about to blow up. And that's exactly what happened, because I took that people weren't willing to take. So I just,
Mm.
having a strong black man who knows his identity, he can know how to go out and become a leader. And what I tell my mentees all the time, son, you help me just as much as I help you. Because when I had one of these 15-year-old boys where my son may not be taking heed to the advice the way I want him to, doesn't mean he's not intaking it, but he's not applying it like I want him to. Then I got another kid who has a personality like me. He DM'd me this morning. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Thank you, I'm a father first, for helping me be the father, the man that I need to be. This kid is out there working right now doing a pop-up shop at Atlantic Station with his bags. You know what I'm saying? That comes from him seeing us consistently being there. So I just think if we have too many children that aren't seeing a positive example, then how do they become fathers? How can someone become something they've never seen? By trying.
Right.
So that means you got to be patient with them, and that curve could be deadly in a lot of times.
Oh, that is a mouthful. That is a mouthful, Keith.
Oh
But
yeah,
it is, oh my God.
as you know where we from, it can really be life or death during that learning curve. I got shot during a learning curve. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's just, certain people don't grow up like us, Camille, man. And I realized once I started getting mentored by these highly successful people and stuff, I was like, man, we just cut different, man. You know what I mean? Like, it may take you a little longer to become who Yolanda Adams was or whatever, but it's gonna last forever. Because even after we're no longer here, sis, our legacies are gonna continue because of the groundwork that we put in when others
Amen.
weren't. You know what I mean?
Amen. Oh, I love your story. Is so everybody needs to hear your story. Every father, because there's
Right.
so many people out there thinking that they can't do it, that they think they can't turn around.
Oh
What
yeah.
what challenges did you face in the beginning when you said, I'm getting ready to change my life? I'm a
Yeah.
father first, and I'm getting ready to I'm gonna go jump deep right into it. What challenges did you face?
Well, Father First was my second nonprofit. I don't know if you remember, I had Jump Right Association, and that was working with ex-offenders. When I came home from prison, I started Jump Right. I
Mm-hmm.
did 3 years, and then I stopped doing that and went into the Alicia Levels era. That was 2010, 2011. And then I went to sports, and then I came back to I'm a Father First. So the first thing is life is just a journey, that you got to be willing to take, because with obstacles that I face, man, I came home from prison. I worked at Kroger by Greenbrier. You know what I'm saying? I used to see Zach in there sometimes. I'm working at the Kroger with this same brain. That's what I used to tell the kids who worked for me last summer. I said, bro, I had this same brain when I'm making $7.40 an hour. My brain has enhanced, of course, through experience and through reading and prayer and supplication and all these things. But this ambition was already in me, but I had to be able to wait it out. So I would say the obstacles: one, no jobs for an ex-offender. So my first nonprofit, Jump Right, was totally to address that. There,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing I could get, you know what I mean, other than a minimum wage job. And people will tell you, keep going to work, you tough it out. Don't nobody hear that. Nobody, you like, man, I don't care what you say. If your story look better than mine, nobody want to hear keep going when your check is $240 a week. You literally, there were times I was sending home $100 for child support so I could pay $400 a month for child support. So that left me with 140 times four. That's $560. Any grown man gonna go sell some dope or rob somebody making that type of money. Because if that pressure get on your back, and you got bills due, my cell phone bill right now is $440. So how can I do that in that type of job? You know what I mean? And it's like I had to learn how to read over. I've always been,
Mm.
but I had to learn how to read, man. I had to learn how to apply, because I got a partner that's a business coach. He makes six figures a month coaching people. And he always say, run the play, execute. Too many people studying forever. And while you studying, a person like me is already out the gate. I'm not waiting on that perfect logo, that perfect business idea, that perfect business plan. If I know right now I can go out and sell some waters, I'm gonna take those corner boards, and guess what? We was making $1,500 on a Saturday. So while you think they're gonna go work for the city and make what, $150 a week per kid, those kids are wearing flip flops with uncombed hair, making at least $100 a day. There's majority of grown folks in poverty that don't make $100 a day. So it's like we're repeating a cycle, because you and I know once that window runs out of they're doing these water sales, by the time
Mm.
22 or 21 and you're too old, you what we call phase out of that. Now you're left with no skills unless you saved up enough money to start a business. So that's the other thing I would say I learned along the way, is just making sure you save, prepare, and plan. Because if you do that, the save, prepare, plan, you're going to be able to scale your life. I was listening to Killer Mike on the way out here, and he said, if you got $500, you can go buy an ice cream stand. If you got 10,000, you can get you a storefront and put you up some type of business. He said, if you got you a 15 or a 20, you can go get you a Subway. Now I don't know if those numbers are all true, but I think we all get the point. All you have
Right.
to do, put your grind to it. There's 41-year-old men that I'm teaching how to get an EIN number, how to get a Dun and Brad's, because they've never heard of that, how to brand their company. They're wondering, how do I get these interviews? Most of my interviews are with people I literally have a relationship with. I don't care if it's a big TV show, the news. People say, why you always on the news? Because these are people I talk to, whether I have something going on or not, because I care about people. So that's the other thing. I think people need to learn how to care about more than what it is they're pushing. Now that
Mm.
I'm very
Say that
deliberate,
again, Keith. Say that again.
they need to care a little less about what they're pushing and more about what others are offering. You
Mm.
know, I'm reading the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, right now, and it talks about the first key to being a valuable person is to add value. And then the second way to be a profitable person, because you may be valuable but may not be profitable. I've had this problem for years. You have to touch more people. So stuff like this touching more people. I don't care if it's this what Haroldine, if it's one person that hears it, they're gonna contact someone else. They're gonna contact someone else, and like the word says, when two or more gather, then God is up amongst us and all that stuff. So I just believe in it's quality over quantity.
You have my notepad is gonna be filled. I always take notes from my guests because you're gonna have to give us some inspiration nuggets, and I have some already. How did
Oh
you
yeah,
over
well send me a shout
I see your picture. With all of those
out.
challenges, I know how you overcame, but I want to hear you talk about it. What helped you keep on pushing? You talked about your job at Kroger right down the street where we know Helen Drive, where I freak it now all the time, of course.
Yeah.
What helped you?
Yeah, I mean, this family support system. Without my mother and father, I definitely wouldn't be here because it was times when I felt like, well, my mission on this earth is to show them that we can live life. Because my mom is structured, man. Like, stuff every single day. And that's the key to success, right? All your star basketball players, all your star tennis players, they live by routine. But our young people, including myself, didn't understand that routine and overcoming obstacles is what leads you to be a subject matter expert. So last year, when it was crazy, right? Because when you get some money, it just changed. I mean, money changes. I don't care what nobody say. Money changes it. And to know, like when I would be talking to people, because they come to me with these real help me moments, right? And I'm like, man, I'm the biggest F up bro. And I'm for real. Like, I'm like, bro, I've been shot twice. I done been kicked out of school from kindergarten through 12th. Any opportunity I've got, I let it slip through my hands because of lack of preparation, misstepping, or just not being the time because I have totally learned it's all about God's timing. But
Mm.
without like I remember when I told my parents I got this $1 million donation, they couldn't believe that one. I put them on, you know how it felt for me to put them on the phone with the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange? Everybody out here talking about, are you investing? Are you investing? I'm actually getting mentored by the man who owns the stock exchange and the international currency exchange. So at this point, a person can't tell me that what God is telling me is inaccurate. All he
Oh,
used to
come
tell me,
on now. Come on.
all he would tell me is, Keith, don't boil the ocean. And people will say, what does that mean? There's no matter how much hot water you dump into the ocean, how much you mix it up with cruise boats and big ships, it ain't gonna boil over. It's only gonna move with the tide. So he told me to learn how to flow like water. And then that's what your most beautiful dancers are, your most athletic athletes. They know how to move like water. They don't let anything conform them. So what I had to learn how to do is embrace myself, man. Because it was so many times, even while I'm hiring 40 people, they say, Keith don't went crazy, Keith this. But you know me since I was a baby, I'm always this talkative. I'm always this
Yeah.
excited. I'm gonna be this excited about somebody else hamburger that they selling outside. What, have you got one of his hamburgers? This thing is off the chain. But too many people talking about some, well, that's cool, but have you seen my sausage over here that I'm selling? Well, my auntie do this. Too many people want to take the shine off of people and only focus on themselves, and all that makes you do is miss it. So to answer your question though, family, which you already know, that's what I guess you was waiting on me to say. The jackpot answer is definitely family, and it's just that's why our tagline with I'm a father first is we are the village.
Mhm.
Because if a young man doesn't have a father at home, or if like I had one child, his mom, blames him for everything. And he understands. He said, I get it. And he's 11 in the 6th grade. He said, I get it. My dad not there. I got 2 younger siblings. I know she's tired. She worked for the school system. She's a custodian. She doesn't make a lot of money. He said, but I'm tired of getting blamed for everything.
Mm.
And Mr. Keith, what y'all do is needed. And I said, thank you for my payment today, sir. He was like, what? I said, bro, I don't need no money as long as I know that I'm good with someone like you. Because
Mm.
at the end of the day, when you come to school, some of these boys in our inner cities, They looking for some love. They looking for, you know that as an educator, they looking for some food. They looking for some love. They looking for something that's not as toxic as they may be getting. So it's just unfortunate that that leads me into a whole nother thought, but I hope that answered the question.
It did. Your family. And you talk about God in every other sentence. So we're gonna shift and I want everyone to go and support. This is Keith's
Thank
book,
you. I was
The
looking
New
for
Norm. So it's three points I want to bring out. First point I want to bring out of your book and discuss. Your father wrote a letter to you
yeah,
in your book, and I read it was so sweet.
yeah,
But this is the part I want to highlight. So he said, as I have said before, you have become the Keith Lewis who I never had the courage nor motivation to be. And that's what you said that even before I read this.
yeah, yeah.
I just had to switch eyes right quick.
Mm,
Just switch my eyes real quick. To see the God in you blossom before my eyes is what I have always prayed for. I've seen you benefit from God's love when you quit selling drugs, stop destroying relationships, and defeated alcoholism. But you never gave up on God, your goals, and your dreams.
mm,
When you read that key from your father, he says, Love eternal, Dad, and today is Father's Day.
yeah,
What do you want to say to your father? Because I know he's probably watching.
yeah. Well, he's right next door, so he probably can even hear me. But I just would want to say if I was talking to my father directly, which we talk a lot, I just love him for who he is. Um, I'm totally him. You know what I mean? I can't imagine how it was growing up because I was so rebellious. And then I was light skinned, so I look like my mother. But as I get older, as you know, I look just like my daddy.
You do.
So as I know what it feels like to be isolated as a man, I can't imagine how strong he had to be
Hmm.
because I gave him so much hell while I was trying to find me. So to not only receive that BS, but to not even look like your son at the time, at least a lot of times you can say, "But that's my twin." And like when I see Keandre, I can say that. But at a young age, man, I can't imagine how he even had the courage to stay. And he said that to me today. He said, "I'm so glad that I never left." Because I was probably the main divide between my parents because my mom is traditional woman. She obedient to her husband. Well, when I date women, they say, "You just want a woman like your mom." I'm like, duh. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my example. But with my dad, man, he was always there for me. And one thing that we both remember is when I was locked up. And I remember when he came to see me and he gave me the little fist pump through the glass, right?
Hmm.
That and when they told me my daughter was born, because she was born while I was incarcerated.
Right.
Those were the two moments that took the veil off. So I would just say for my dad, I thank him for never giving up on me. I
Yes.
thank him for being the example of a man that I needed to see. I thank him for always just being resilient, always just providing. I mean, there was never a time that we went without. Our phone was never disconnected. Our address never changed.
No, it never changed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things that you learn to value once you go through life, right? Because I know so many quote unquote successful people, and they don't have any houses in their names. They have high priced condos downtown for a look. They don't have any deeds to their houses, any titles to their cars. They don't even have real degrees. A lot of them are buying honorary doctorates. People these days are so full of smoky mirrors, but my daddy made sure he showed me what the real thing was. You know,
Mm.
it wasn't a counterfeit way. It wasn't a lack of substance with him. Whether he was coaching at East Point, teaching at Pauldy West, he was always a man first. And when people see me to this day, they like, dang boy, you Mr. Lewis' son for real. And that's just the power to speak of what your name. And I knew I was the one that was gonna bring about a legacy for my family. I knew that when I was a baby. But I was so frustrated, Camille, because I didn't think no one else saw it. And a competitor never thinks that. You know, with you, with your vocal cords, I know you still say these folks sleep. These folks don't know what I got. That's what I still say. Like, I literally feel like I can help make an impact that this world can never erase. But it takes a team, it takes capacity, it takes resources,
Yes.
and it takes a team like your father and your mother to be there. Because, man, I've seen so many people come and go. You can go down my past 15 years and it's gonna people say Keith was the man. He helped me do this. I wouldn't have had the courage to do this. But boy, if I call them for any support to buy the book, thank you for purchasing the book. Not just, you know how many people say, well, you're gonna be on my show. Go ahead and let me get the book. You have a certain type of character that most people don't exude. So I think one thing I'm thankful for with my dad is character and discipline and integrity leading me first. Because even when they try to muddy your name, man, it speaks for itself out here because I do it consistently and I do it without any reward. Now the reward's yet coming. I'm overdue like the books in the library. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting my flowers right now and I'm thankful for them.
Amen.
I
Amen.
mean, it was plenty of time, but nothing pretty to talk about, you know?
But you got a lot of pretty to talk about now, and I just can't. I just love it. I was like, when I started Sunday Night Live, and I started mapping out my year of who I want to be my guest. I
Yeah,
immediately wrote your name down for the Father's Day
I
guest
appreciate it.
because I was like, your
And that
story is
means a
just
lot.
so. Yeah, people need to hear it. They need to, and we're gonna talk. Another point. Okay, this chapter here in the book. You guys, you all need to get this book. Y'all need to have Keith to come to your school to work with some guys. Your father, okay, this is chapter right here. Chapter 1. Hey, young man, triggers. I want to just give me a little snippet. How do you juggle them every day? Because I know that you're faced with a lot of triggers and you spend a lot of detail in this book about them.
Man, man, I can tell you one time, I told someone, I said, hey, you triggering me. And they said, well, if you're wise enough to know you've been triggered, you should know how to hold them. I said, see, you don't know
Woo!
how this goes. I said, you don't know how to respect that I know how to know my triggers. And then God said, no, bro, that just means it's another layer. One layer is identifying the triggers, but two is how to adjust if someone else don't care the fact that you're wise enough or seasoned enough to know that you're being triggered for a negative response. Because everybody don't care. So for me, with triggers, I've just learned how to. King wants to be in an interview with
That's
me.
fine.
What
That's the key. Today is Father's Day. I love
I
it.
say,
Let
hey,
him
Miss.
sit right there on your lap. Hey,
Yeah, so
darling.
so like for me, what I've learned how to do with triggers, like when Keandre was his age, I wouldn't have even been able to ask him to move the way I did. Like I would have probably pushed him out the way. I'm like, I gotta do this. We always think this is important. Everything is important, but we always think what we're doing right now is the most important thing. But sometimes you gotta learn how to put what's most important first, right?
Mm,
So for me coming out here today, this was most important because this is my brother's side of the family from his wife. But I knew that as a trigger, me being alone on Father's Day would not be good. So I made sure me and my son got on matching shirts. We both got our lime green shoes on. I didn't even wear Father first. I wore King first because this is his merch, right, buddy? So King is watching me all the time. King is so smart and so wise. So what I've learned is on your triggers, you got to realize not to let them throw you out of your character. And
mm.
breathing. We work on breathing, right?
I love it.
Deep breath. So
I'll be right back.
you'll be right back. So what we've learned is through breathing exercises, through yoga, and through all these different practices, that's how I eliminate the stressors. That's how I eliminate all the stressors. So for me, when I notice that my anxiety is building up, when I notice that it can go into a blood pressure range, then I
Mhm.
try. So I just encourage people at home. It's like you have to take a deep breath. One thing I've learned is we really don't practice breathing. And I guarantee you, if you control your breathing, it will help your overall flow. Water intake and breathing are two things that God gave us that will help keep you healthy. You know, everybody tell me my skin glowing now. It's from that alkaline, baby.
They're alkaline in
And
water.
it's
I love
like
it.
sure you find in your centered area. Like even though my boy goes through his emotional things like me, he's my ground. You know, when I learned electrical work when I came off from prison, I was no good with that. But I learned it briefly. There's a ground. And if it's not grounded, it'll shock you or something like that.
Mhm.
Like I have to learn what's my grounder. And when I go around people that I know aren't good for me, man, Camille, I get such anxiety now. I literally sometimes trip out. I'm like, am I socially awkward? But when I leave people, when I leave people, they be like so happy I was there, loving my jokes. But in my mind, I still know I ain't giving these people my best self. I still know, like, for me, come on, you gotta be still. For me, I went through so much to get to this point. Like this young man here, he's been so patient with me today. We think as parents, kid gotta be patient. No, they don't. Creflo talked about it today. It says in the Bible, fathers and mothers do not provoke your children to anger or to
Mm,
feel low self-esteem or all these different things, because that's the flip side to children. Honor your parents in all your days where you belong. So I think for me, man, knowing my triggers again is just knowing that we all have equal say in life. I don't care if you're a 5-year-old child or my XYZ age mother and father. They all have a right to say how they feel. And as a leader, sometimes we don't listen
mm,
and we just only hear what we want. So I would just say for people, if you're taking notes and applying things, not just about having a notebook, learn how to listen more, drink water, stretch, meditate, pray, do all these things because God is going to center you. Because during the day, man, shoot, I probably make more moves from my phone in my truck than most people do at their desk, and they're still complaining about their job. I'm
mm.
literally in my car doing more and talking to some very high level people while I'm riding in my truck. But you have to keep a balance. The point is, everyone thinks what they're doing is the most important. Get off your horse and realize we're just ordinary people.
I love it. Okay, this is another chapter in the book because there are. I mean, this book is just. I'm gonna make sure that Jordan reads this book too. Why you angry, bro?
Yeah,
Calm down.
targeted young men too.
This chapter here, that title just drew my attention because it reminded me of something like the why the black woman angry. But today,
Mhm.
Father's Day, we're gonna focus on why you angry, bro. Calm down. How did you overcome your anger? Because I know you had it.
Yeah, man, I still got it. I think addiction, it never goes away. It just subsides itself based off of the level of in your. So I think, it's no difference than when, with me battling alcohol addiction. I'm almost 4 years sober now. But at the
Amen.
end of the day, I still can be triggered just like that to go back to that. So for me, I have to be mindful of what I consume around me, the type of people I'm around. And the anger, man, it just when you understand yourself, because all it is we're just frustrated. You know how many I'm single, so you know how many women I deal with that come at me for this figure of who they think I am. But then when we talking like this, they don't understand who they are, and I realize how much I still got to learn about myself. But as you know, as a wife, you got to accept each other for who you are.
That's
Like,
true.
and hard that in this new society, boy, we ain't really going for that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want a microwave solution. So for my anger, I had to realize that I am valuable. I am worthy. Oh, and me and my son say affirmations. We do our.
Okay.
I told him to say, I am wise and intelligent every single day, no matter what. Because the enemy will try to distract you and make you think you're not who you are, already know who you are.
Mm,
Remind yourself that you are valuable.
Uh-oh, did it go off?
Do not disturb. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can. Yes.
Somebody calling me on Facebook video. Why they doing that? But but I'm like, what where was I at? He threw my thought off. I'm sorry.
You and your son, y'all do affirmations together.
Oh yeah, with the affirmations, because someone's gonna come and try to throw your day off. We got that money last year from Senator Kelly Loeffler and her husband. They didn't care that we was feeding the hood. They didn't care that they weren't gonna buy a hamburger for those people themselves. Those people were getting lunch and dinner 5 days a week from us, delivered to your house. Like Negroes ain't even living like that who got money off Uber. You know what I'm saying? So we were able to provide people with a level of life, and all our community did, the ones who chose to take that side, is condemn it. They
I,
don't know what your story is. Like I told most of the people, because it was mainly people who work corporate jobs. I say, bro, ain't nobody mad at you when you get your check every 2 weeks. I'm not asking you to borrow money from my organization every 2 weeks. You go sit behind your desk and let me go shake these streets up, and I see you on the other side of this thing. You know what I mean?
well,
Because
that was one of my questions, Keith. But
oh,
you handled it, King. You handled that situation because
hey, God,
I was looking and I heard what people were saying, and what I just said, well, do you have the check for him?
right. Because what happened? Because now you know what's happening. I'm doing interviews and meetings with people asking how did I get to the funding. Now that's what me and God. I tell the story, but it's like I didn't know them. I didn't solicit those. They were referred us by Dr. Karstock.
Say something again.
Can you hear me?
Okay, it's good. It's good. It's good. Okay, in chapter 9, let me see, because you got to enjoy your Father's Day. We're gonna wrap up in just a moment, but this is good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Keep gonna be right back. He's on. Woo! This is so much. I want to hold up Keith's book again. He gonna jump back in with us. The new norm. I told you all have been taking notes. Every black child, every black male needs to read this book, but this is going to help you understand what's going on and how, if anybody you know who's been down and out, there's Keith. Let's put him back in. There we
Hey,
go. There we go.
I hope my classmate got something real good to tell me, because he don't call me 3 times and we never talk.
Hey, he might be watching on YouTube Live. He might be watching you, Keith.
I hope so. If you watching, stop calling, bro. I'll call you when I get through.
You have some happy Father's Day, Keith, from Miss Rose Bailey, who is watching. Haradine said she's got to get it for her son, Tommy. Yes.
Yeah.
In chapter 9, the young man's father. Tell us about that.
The young man's father.
In that chapter.
Well, for me, and what I was speaking on is I was trying to make sure I spoke to roles, because there's a part for the mother, there's a part for the young man, and there was no way I could split up the whole thing. It's targeted for young men like my son and Jordan, ages 12 through 22, because, like I said, I was shot twice and incarcerated by 22. Once I came home at 24, I've been flying good, because I was like, oh yeah, they serious over there, they killing folks over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they serious. So for me, the young man's father, it just speaks about our role. It speaks about how we have to understand the importance, but how we have to build a village for each other. I have so many brothers on days that I'm feeling down. They change the game for me, because they call me and say, bro, I'm really going through it and I need you. I need you to continue what you're doing. And as you know, like Pastor Dollar was speaking of today, we're just, it's in our brains to just move like everything's okay. Because it's hard to just give yourself up vulnerable wise. KD Bo said something earlier on his YouTube or Instagram. He said the best gift a man can give is vulnerability. And ooh, that's deep, bro. Because so many people walking around with a Superman chest on, and then nobody knows, man. Like my best friend is in the hospital in a coma right now. He's been in a coma since Mother's Day. So
Oh,
it's like, and then guess what? We can't even post it on Facebook because family isn't letting people know.
Hmm.
The fourth time. It's like the fourth time he's called me. Yeah, I don't know why he would call me 4 times, guys. I apologize.
We getting ready to wrap up though. But before we do, Keith, because this is just powerful, I want first everybody to know a father first and meals of love. You all fed during COVID over 225,000 meals. Oh, let's say it again. Is it on mute? Let's see. Can we hear Keith? Let me hear you say something again. Oh, I can't hear you. He'll be back. We've been ready to wrap up because I want him to call his friend back also. But I want y'all to go to his website. I have it scrolling at the bottom. I'm a father first. He's a co-founder. With that, I want y'all to donate to Meals of Love. You can go to www.iamafatherfirst with the number one as the I.org. You have to. You have to. And if you go to his website, you will see clips. And I want to shout out some of his partners and sponsors. The Atlanta Public Schools, Ford, Amazon Smile, Bill.com, T-Mobile, Disney, and Walmart, and Community Rewards. We're going to stay here for a couple of seconds. Let's see if he can come back in. There he is. If y'all have any comments for Keith, make sure you put them in the comment section. And Keith, I share with everybody some of your sponsors. Before we wrap up, I'm going to let you go. The last question, what is your biggest dream? You might not be able to answer that because we can't hear him.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now. We can hear you now because I
Yeah.
told me to wrap up.
I said my biggest dream is to live on the golf course like my brother's grandfather-in-law.
That's going to happen.
Yes, indeed. We received that. So that's my biggest dream is to do this, honestly. That's why I walked outside for this last piece. He's over here hosting his family. Plenty of food, chicken, waffles, banana pudding, key lime pie, you know. So in 20 years when I'm 60, I plan on being Tyler Perry rich and been on fed over 200 million meals. Because if we
Amen.
did 225,000 in 5 months with God and the support of the people, I know we can do 20 million meals over the next 20 years. My goal, honestly, that I got was to feed more people than anybody had done. They said we fed more people than anybody except Hosea Williams, and we fed hand cooked, chef prepared meals. So these weren't meals that were like just the produce boxes and stuff. So nothing against those people that do what they call shelf ready foods. These were meals cooked by Chef Kevin Gillespie, who's on Bravo Top Chef. These are meals that were cooked by my brother, the world famous Chef Dash, who cooks 700 meals a day from Campbellton Road with his wife. So what I want
Amen.
people to know is my father drove, my mother drove with him. I had 3 other brothers, 2 my mentees who we gave scholarships, free haircuts, and they worked for us. So if I was 19 years old and soon as I got graduated from Westlake, and I had a brother who was cutting my hair for free every 2 weeks, gave me a job paying me $300 a week, and he was as fly as me, I would have listened.
I love it.
So my dream is to provide a foundation and a legacy for my family that far exudes anything in our possibilities right now. We only believe what we see. So exposure is the first thing. Like right now, the guy who was just calling me, I just saw he's calling to rent a car. That's another business that I started during this time is renting cars, and I don't keep them. I haven't drove 2 of my cars that stay rented. You know why? Because I saw an opportunity and I didn't procrastinate. And now I can make me an extra 2,500 a month. So I ain't gotta worry about the haters that's wondering where we get our checks from. We create our checks. I
Hey,
got I got all this merchandise. How I show this merchandise? Let me see how to turn my body. I
turn
don't
your
know.
body.
There you go. I got all this merchandise, and we do have partners. We won Ford's nonprofit of the year. So that truck back there, we won that F-150 from Ford. You know, we had four F-150, I mean, four Ford Transits moving through the city, and we provided jobs. I mean, we provided jobs for over 30 people, and half of them talk mess about me, Camille. I had one lady send me a video of one of my employees who used to be my best friend sitting there talking about our organization, why he got on my shirt driving my van and driving it home because he didn't have his own. So guess what? That's why our community is stuck in a rut, because there's too many people counting other people's pockets. They pulling people by the coattails, and they're hating instead of learning how can we work together. So
Mm.
me, I'm so grateful. I see your sister say that she's in tears, and that's because she's known me. She know where I come from. So anybody that knows me, man, you ain't surprised when I come up, because you know I always keep working. I
Yeah,
never stop moving my feet.
you
So I
don't.
just want to I just want to congratulate you for never stopping moving on this show. I want to congratulate you for never stop moving on your gift that you have. You've been killing the church for years, and now it's time for the world to see you. And like I said, man, these blessings that we walk into, it's because of obedience only, Camille. Family helps, but without obedience, man, and discipline, don't none of this matter. Don't none of this matter other than another story to tell. And we all got a story. That's why you got a show every Sunday night. So the thing about it is you gotta walk in your truth and you
Mm.
gotta own it. And no matter what, people talked, but man, I know they throw stones at Jesus. They threw rocks at that man. That man had if God didn't send a physical living sacrifice, we would still not believe he was real because we don't believe nothing. So if I tell people if anything, I just tell them God is so real. He loves me. He loves you. And we're going to continue to feed people. We're going to
Amen.
continue to serve. And the thing about it is all the sons need to talk to me, but it's who going to apply it. So I'm more than willing to talk. But like I tell people, you got to know somebody ready because this thing is the fast track. You know, white people put their children on a fast track to success. Black people, we just hope they can make it. Go to college, get you a job, sustain. When white folks say thrive, thrive, thrive.
You
So I'm
better
gonna make
preach.
sure,
Now you
I'm,
preach. You
I'm
had
gonna
to
make
come
sure you get
outside.
it.
You had to come
Hey,
outside to preach.
huh?
You had to come outside to preach.
Yeah, I had to come outside because you know people inside, so I had to come outside. Yeah, because at the end of the day, man, I run through this whole neighborhood because God saved me. I've been shot in my chest and my back, so I could care less about what nobody say. I've been put out of every institution I walked into until I created my own, sir. Until I created my own, now they call me and say, Keith, how did you do what you did? And it ain't nothing but the grace of God. So, you know, I just want to commend everybody who stayed true to the blueprint that God laid before us and who stays true to their families because family is going to be there. We just have to get the families back together. My book is the first installment, man, and I hope other people write about nothing but fathers coming together with their queens, respecting their queens, and we need women to honor their men and speak life into us. None of us are getting that real good. I love you, King. How are you doing? When people hear me talking to people, girls think I'm gaming. I say I call every woman queen, every woman beautiful, because you are. Like it, and that some may be a little finer than others. Some may be a little finer than others, but we're all beautiful because God saved us. He put a smile on our face. I got family in here waiting on me to finish this interview because they say, this Camille from church, this my son. We ain't going nowhere. And that's what loyalty and integrity gets you. It gets the favor. And favor don't always come in dollars. But when it do, boy, it come big.
Come here. But King, wait, my King, I just want to tell you, Smoochie, you know I love you, and I'm always pushing and praying for you because, baby, you
Thank
made
you
a
so much.
360, honey, and it's God, and it's nothing but higher and higher,
High and high, and just
higher and
never
higher.
conform, man. Don't conform to nothing they tell you because they don't know. Please
Amen.
remember, they don't know. Only
They
you and
don't
them.
know. King, you gave so many inspirational nuggets. There's one inspirational nugget, then you can go enjoy some banana pudding.
Oh, they told me I'm getting too fat, so I can't get that. Now,
Oh,
hey, look, you know I had on lost this weight. I got too confident. Now I gotta get back. I'm juicing this week. I'm on a juice diet. But I
okay.
mean, I would say the same nugget that I said on every show now. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Because at the end of the day, sin, condemnation, shame, and guilt and fear will lead to doubt and worry. Once all that is put in that gumbo pot, you're gonna end up stuck in a rut. So everybody need to come pops in the building. Hey family.
Happy Father's Day. Keep senior.
Hey Camille. Hey brother. That's it. Yeah. Sound like the mic. Can you hear us, Camille?
I can hear y'all a little bit.
Yeah, the mic going crazy.
Thank you all.
Want to show my face? Yeah, we've been talking about this a lot.
He said, show my face. They say, show my face. I love it. I love it. Well,
what? Can you hear us, Camille?
I'm going to let you go now because I want you to enjoy all that beautiful sunshine. Okay, I'll talk with you soon. Thank you so much. Guys, I don't know what to say. All I know that is a black male that I babysat when he was little, my sister and I, like I told you, and we have seen him go through. You heard about all his struggles and his challenges, and he overcame. So if he did, we know we can too. As the song said, we all shall overcome. So take those inspirational nuggets that you heard tonight for Father's Day. I told you I had a special treat for you. I want to make sure you like, comment, share. Once this video downloads on my YouTube channel, I want you to share it. Don't forget to purchase Keith's book, The New Norm, some of his merchandise. You may in Google, because he's doing amazing things. And I love all the comments. Congratulations to Keith and keep moving. Obedience is greater than the sacrifice. Hallelujah. I am so proud of you and Camille. Keith. Preach, Keith. Excellent interview. Glory. Wonderful. I want to tell you all, thank you so much. I'll see you this time next Sunday. I love you guys. Go enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. But I want to especially thank you for spending this hour with me with Sylvia Camille on Sunday Night Live. Stay blessed.